At my graduation party, Dad raised his glass and said it loud enough for the music to drop. You didn't deserve this success. Your sister did. Laughter froze. Glasses paused midair. Then Mom chimed in, as if reading from the same poison script. She's always been the golden child. Not like you. The cake sat behind me, untouched. My degree, framed in gold, shimmered in the corner like a joke. I stood there, holding the glass they gave me, a toast meant to honor me, while they turned my moment into a public rejection. So I smiled, raised my champagne, and said, clear and proud,
Great.
then she can pay her bills too. Gasps rippled. My sister choked on her drink. My name is Naomi. And from wherever you're watching this, stay with me. Because have you ever realized, in the middle of a celebration, that your entire life was built on proving yourself to people who never planned to love you right? They didn't clap for my acceptance letter. They didn't show up at my thesis defense. But they came to the party. For the photos. For the credit. I watched my mom's expression shift, from smug to stunned. Dad opened his mouth, probably to bark something cruel, but I was already walking away. Out the door. Off the porch. Into the night air that felt more like family than they ever did. Aaron was waiting by the car. You okay? He asked, stepping forward. No, I said. But I will be. Because in that moment, something in me shattered, not out of pain but release. I was done trying to earn love. Done writing checks, literal and emotional, to parents who only saw me as a utility. They wanted golden child worship? Then they could live without my gold. The next day, I cut them off. Every automatic payment. Every card with their name. Every account that bore the weight of my loyalty.
Gone.
That was the beginning. But what came next made them regret ever opening their mouths. I thought the silence would feel like guilt. Instead, it felt like freedom. No more daily transfers to cover their mortgage. No more emergency payments for my mom's cosmetic procedures. No more, it's just until your sister gets on her feet, lies. They didn't know I'd been holding up the scaffolding of their lives for years. And now I'd let it fall. 3 days later, my sister texted. Mom's card isn't working. Did something happen? I stared at the message like it was a joke. Something happened? Yeah. Truth happened. I didn't reply. Aaron and I were already on the road, a long overdue weekend trip. As the engine hummed and the sun dipped behind the hills, he reached over and held my hand. You finally did it, he said. I don't think they even know how much I gave, I whispered.
He looked at me.
They don't. And they never will. That's why you had to stop. Because here's the part no one claps for. While my sister was out finding herself, I was working 2 jobs and paying off their second mortgage. While they praised her Instagram milestones, I was the one wiring money to fix their plumbing and clear their credit card debt. They worshipped her glow, but it was lit by my fire. Until I blew it out. That night, Mom called 12 times. Dad texted, grow up. This is petty. My sister left a voicemail crying, they're not eating, Naomi. You're being cruel.
Full?
You mean like calling your daughter an embarrassment on her graduation day? Like years of emotional exile unless I was needed for a bill? Cruel was expecting love without giving any. Still, part of me ached. So, I did something I never thought I would. I opened the folder. The one with all the receipts, literal and emotional. Bank statements. Wire transfers. Grocery bills. Rent deposits. All tied to my account. I printed them. Packaged them. Wrote one note on top. Here's what your golden child never gave you. Then I mailed it. No return address. Just a silence louder than my years of begging to be seen. Let them feel what I felt all this time. Unseen. Used. And finally,
Done.
3 days later, they showed up at my doorstep. No warning. No shame. Just rage behind fake concern. I opened the door slowly, one hand on the frame. There stood my mother in pearls she couldn't afford anymore, and my father gripping the railing like he wanted to tear it off. Can we come in? She asked, eyes glossy. We just want to talk. I didn't move. Talk. Or corner me again, like you did at my graduation? Dad scoffed. You really think punishing us makes you the hero? No, I said, steady. It makes me free. Aaron stood behind me, silent, present. My unspoken strength. You're blowing everything out of proportion, my mother said. We were trying to push you, to motivate you. I laughed.
Cold.
Calling me undeserving in front of strangers was your idea of motivation? We didn't mean it like that, she snapped. You always twist everything. There it was. The gaslight flicker I knew too well. I folded my arms. So, the groceries I paid for? The mortgage I covered? That was also me twisting things. They stayed silent. I stepped out, closing the door gently behind me.
Here's the truth, I said.
You didn't come to love me. You came because you lost your safety net. Dad opened his mouth, but I cut him off. For years, you gave her the praise and me the responsibility. She got the spotlight. I got the bills. She's your sister, Mom said weakly. She needed help. And I needed parents, I snapped. But instead, I got used. Her eyes finally welled up, not with understanding, but panic. Because for the first time, their meal ticket had teeth. Then Dad stepped closer. What do you want, Naomi? Money? An apology? To be the favorite. I looked at him like he was the stranger he always acted like. I want you to live without me, I said. His face fell. And then, I handed them something. A folder. The same one I mailed. This is everything I ever gave you. Every dollar. Every sacrifice. Every time I paid your rent while you called me a disappointment. I walked back inside, leaving them standing in the quiet. I didn't slam the door. I closed it like a chapter. They didn't call again. But someone else did. My sister. And what she said turned everything I thought I knew upside down. Her name flashed on my screen at 2:14 a.m. Maya, sister. I stared at it, thumb hovering, heart thudding in my throat. Then I answered. Naomi. Her voice was wrecked, like she'd been crying for hours. I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know it was all you. I didn't respond. I just listened. I thought Dad was helping you, she said. He told me you were doing fine. That you married rich. That he was carrying you. I let out a breath that sounded almost like a laugh. Is that what he said? I didn't know they were living off you. That you were paying for everything while I was… God, I was shopping like an idiot. Maya, I said, my voice sharp but calm.
You didn't ask.
You didn't care. Silence. Then, you're right. The words cracked something in me. Because I'd never heard them before. Not from her. I was jealous of you, she whispered. All those degrees, the house, the husband who actually shows up. I wanted to believe you were privileged. That you had it easier. Because admitting you worked harder made me feel like crap. My throat tightened. But Naomi, she continued, you weren't just the strong one. You were the only one. That silence between us wasn't empty. It was full of years. Of comparison. Of buried rage. And for the first time, it broke. She said, they're freaking out. Mom's trying to get loans. Dad's pretending nothing's wrong, but he's calling every day asking what to do. Let them figure it out, I said. I know. I wanted to tell you something. I sat up straighter. I got the folder, she said. They left it on the kitchen counter. I read every line. Every receipt. Every transaction. Her voice cracked again. And I just want to say, I'm sorry.
For being blind.
For letting them pit us against each other. For not seeing you. Tears blurred my eyes. Then she added, softer now. I don't want your money. I just want to start over. As sisters. If you'll let me. I sat there in the dark, the ache in my chest shifting. Because I realized this was the apology I'd waited years for. Not from my parents. But from the one person who could actually give it meaning. And maybe, just maybe, I wasn't alone anymore. We met at a quiet cafe on the east side. No cameras, no parents, no noise. Just two women who shared a childhood and almost nothing else. Maya walked in looking like she'd aged 5 years in 2 weeks. Her once perfect nails chipped. designer bag traded for a tote. And her eyes, red-rimmed, tired, but finally honest. I didn't know what to wear, she joked softly, sliding into the seat across from me. Didn't want to look like a parasite. I let out a small laugh. Not forgiving, not cruel. Just tired. She reached into her bag and pulled out a thin notebook. "What's that?" I asked. She pushed it toward me. "The money." I calculated it. What I spent. What I owed. What Mom and Dad used in my name. I flipped through it. She'd written it all out by hand. Every dollar. Every gift. Every lie. "I want to pay you back," she said. "Even if it takes me 10 years. I closed the notebook. "You can't buy your way back into my life," I said. "This isn't about the money anymore." "I know," she said. "I just needed you to know I see it now. I see you now." For a while, we just sat there. Two sisters with a history carved by favoritism, silence, and unspoken bruises. Then I said what had been clawing at me for weeks. "Did they ever love me, Maya? Or just need me?" She reached across the table and held my hand. "They don't know how to love the strong one. They only know how to take from her." I looked down, swallowed hard. All these years, I thought if I just gave more, they'd finally let me in. "You were never outside," she whispered. "You were just above." That broke me. Not into pieces, into truth. Because I finally understood. I wasn't unloved. I was inconvenient, unbending, unbought, and now untouchable. We left the cafe quietly. No big moment. No hug. But before we parted, Maya turned to me. "You were always the one I wanted to be." And then she walked away. Not my enemy. Not my rival. Just a sister. Trying to become someone real. The next call came from a number I didn't recognize. When I answered, the voice was shaky but sharp. "Naomi, it's your father." I nearly hung up, but something in me, curiosity, maybe kept me still. "I'm not calling to fight," he said quickly. "I'm calling because I'm scared." I waited. "We're losing the house. The creditors froze the joint accounts. Your mother's having panic attacks. We're—" He stopped. Swallowed. "We're not okay." I wanted to laugh. Or scream. Or say good. Instead, I said nothing. Then he added the part he'd never said before. "And I realize I was wrong." The words hung in the air like smoke. "You raised a glass at my graduation," I said, "and tore me down in front of everyone." "I know," he said. "I was angry, jealous even. You didn't follow the path I planned, and still, somehow, you became more than all of us." I closed my eyes. "You told me I didn't deserve it," I whispered. "That Maya did." He exhaled. "I thought favoring her would push you harder. But all it did was make me blind to the one child who never stopped showing up." I waited for it to land. And when it did, I asked, "What do you want from me?" He was silent for a beat too long. "I don't know," he finally said. "Maybe forgiveness." I laughed. Not bitter. Just done. "Forgiveness is earned, not owed," I said. "And honestly, I don't need anything from you. Not even that." He tried to respond, but I ended the call. Not out of cruelty, but closure. Because I'd spent years begging for his love, and in doing so, forgot to love myself. Now I was rebuilding, brick by brick. Later that night, Aaron poured me a glass of wine and kissed my shoulder. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said, watching the city flicker beyond our balcony. For the first time, I think I am. Because I'd walked through the fire they lit with their rejection. And I didn't just survive. I walked out shining. Not for them. Not for validation. For me. And this time, no one could dim it. I didn't think they'd show up. But they did. All three of them, Dad, Mom, and Maya, stood on the sidewalk outside my townhouse in clothes that no longer screamed wealth, but whispered reality. They looked small. Not in size. In presence. I watched from the upstairs window for a moment before I came down. Aaron tried to stop me. "You don't owe them anything," he said gently. "I know," I said. "That's exactly why I'm going." I opened the front door and stepped outside.
Didn't invite them in.
Dad cleared his throat. We'd like to talk. I nodded. So talk. Mom was the first to break. I don't recognize myself anymore, she said. We treated you like a second-class citizen in your own life. We just never expected you to walk away. You didn't expect me to realize I was always standing alone, I corrected. Maya stood behind them, quiet, supportive.
Changed.
Dad took something out of his pocket. A checkbook. I want to repay you, he said. Whatever we owe, I'll find a way to give it back. I didn't take it. I didn't even flinch. I don't want your money, I said. I wanted your respect. And you buried it under years of insults and favoritism. He nodded. Not proud. Not defeated. Just human. We're selling the house, he said. Moving out of the city. Starting fresh. That's good, I said. Maybe now you'll learn to build something without using me as the foundation. Silence stretched between us like glass. Then Maya stepped forward. I'll never let them treat you like that again, she said. You have my word. I believed her. Not because of what she said, but because of what she'd already done. I took a deep breath. I'm not coming back to the family you were, I said. But maybe, someday, I'll visit the one you're trying to become. No one spoke. But something broke in the silence, and not in me this time. In them. They left without protest. No hugs. No grand moments. Just a quiet, uncertain retreat. And as I closed the door behind me, I felt it deep in my bones. They didn't know me anymore. I did. 6 months later, I threw a party. Not for approval. Not for family. But for every version of me that survived them. It wasn't extravagant. Just laughter, real friends, soft music, and candles that flickered like the fire I'd rebuilt myself from. No cameras. No forced smiles. No walking on eggshells. Just me, whole. Maya came. She brought flowers and a card with just 3 words inside. You changed me. And I believed her.
She'd gotten a job.
Downsized. Paid me back what she could, little by little, even when I told her she didn't have to.
She came to dinner sometimes.
She listened.
She didn't compare.
And she never once said the word golden again. Mom and Dad didn't come. But they mailed a letter. Handwritten.
Honest.
They wrote about therapy. About reflection. About how their silence had a body count. And how I was the first person who ever made them look in the mirror. They didn't beg to come back into my life. They just said thank you for cutting the cord that made them finally grow. I stood on my balcony that night, wine in hand, Aaron's arm around my waist, the city breathing beneath us. You still think about it? He asked. Sometimes, I said, but it doesn't hurt anymore. Because I realized something they never did. They tried to bury me in shame, but I used it as soil. I grew in it, became someone they couldn't control, couldn't define, couldn't destroy. The golden child? That title meant nothing to me now. Because I wasn't gold. I was forged. And I didn't shine because they let me. I shined because I burned.